Okay, my friends. Again, this is under the Fair Use Act. I originally consulted with the Russians about their sinkhole problem, and I told them that there's nothing they could do because we're pumping so much out of the ground that these voids are collecting these huge amounts of explosive gases and they're just blowing up. Sometimes they'll start on fire. Sometimes they'll just pop like a cork. And that's what happened here in these, I think they're called a Yamani, I can't remember now. But I have a video that goes back, I think it's 7 or 8 years ago, that where I actually did talk to them because it's a long, convoluted story, but a Japanese researcher got a hold of me who originally put on Nova about the sinkholes. And he saw my stuff, and he got a hold of me about what I was saying about sinkholes. And then he said, the Russians want to talk to you. And I said, sure, I'll talk to them. And I told him, I said, those are biological. The Earth is a living creature. It's biology, nothing you can do. We're draining the fluids from the Earth. It's just exploding. So anyway, this is under the Fair Use Act. I'm just going to play this, and I'm going to make comments as they go along, because I do understand exactly what they have here. And I'm not sure anybody does yet.
What happens when a frozen world locked away for millennia starts to thaw? In 2014, a helicopter crew flying over Siberia discovers something mysterious. A crater more than 80 feet wide and deeper than a 15-story building.
This was when I was talking to them about it, right at that time when they first discovered. I think there was 13 holes that they had discovered by this time when I actually talked to them.
Sinkholes are nothing new, but this is no ordinary sinkhole.
The ground
That's exactly
has
what
exploded.
did happen.
There's no way. This is not real.
More Siberian craters have since been discovered. There's even evidence they may be appearing in Alaska.
You see, oh, it's appearing everywhere, everywhere. This is methane bubbling up because there was fluids in these craters, and they are literally the biodigesters of the Earth. I know it sounds crazy, but I've done a lot of research on this. The Earth was alive. I don't know about now. This fracking, you can't just explode the guts out of a living creature. I don't know if it's alive or now anymore at all.
The lake bottom went from being flat, 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 and then it just dropped out.
And they show no sign of stopping.
They are the biodigesters of that ecosystem. All of that stuff flushed down in there and was literally consumed.
Now, scientists from around the globe race to understand a hidden world. Permafrost, a layer of frozen earth spanning a quarter of the northern hemisphere's landmass. This ancient freezer is beginning to thaw, revealing its deepest secrets.
Pretty exciting. This is a mammoth bone right here.
Releasing over 500 million tons of carbon every year.
It was just insane. Like, the water is boiling around you.
And threatening local communities.
Houses need to be torn down. We're in the middle of a housing crisis.
Are the craters warning shots for our climate future?
That is not included in climate models. That's a scary wild card in the climate change story.
What new dangers lurk beneath this vast frozen landscape? And could they warm our planet even further? Arctic sinkholes, right now on Nova.
You see this? This goes back 7 years ago on my old channel. I had to get rid of this channel because it just got absolutely destroyed. Anyway, I was talking to the Russians about this. I was posting about this happening, these sinkholes in Florida and in Russia, and it was going to happen everywhere. There's no stopping it because of draining the Earth of its fluids. You can't pump everything out and then expect it to be fine. It's just going to fill in with water. Well, it's not going to. In Florida, too. It's just that it wasn't muddy up down in Florida. This has a heavy, heavy, deep, deep layer of mud. Now, here, is the dying holes. They're starting to die all over the place. And that's like that. Now, you come down to here. Now, here's a literal blue hole that's still up in that area, but it's dying. You see this here? That's all methane gas that's emanating from the lake. And you see this one right here? That's the one that I talked to the Russians about. And I guess at this point, maybe I hadn't talked to them yet. This was 7 years ago. So that would be 2015. It was right in that area that I was talking with them. Anyway, see blue holes in Russia and Florida. Oh, here it is right here. Maybe I'm talking about it now. Hold on. All right, so we're seeing the methane. There's a blue hole down in here. There's a sinkhole. It's fed into Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is using it to eat, it looks like to me. Yeah, it's digesting. That's her lunch. Now, you see these here? This is what happens in the wintertime because the emanations from these holes, which is identical to what happens, well, let me start over. The emanations from these holes freeze up. Now, all right, let me just explain. I'm bumbling here. This is a long time ago. These are the blood vessels, literally just like the blood vessels that are in your body. And what happens is all of this stuff that decays and it runs through these little tubes and gets sucked back down into the earth for the earth to live, basically. It's consuming this waste up here. I know it sounds crazy, but it is true. And that's why all this methane gas is accumulating here, because this moisture here should have been up here. It should have stayed right there. It was supporting the tundra. So much is now they're going down, 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 and they're going lower and lower and lower. It's just going to happen. You know, this should be floated pretty much up. These shouldn't be exposed like this. And that's why these things are filling up. And as the methane gets hot, you know, more and more bubbled up, and in the areas where they were pretty well frosted over, and they're taking way too much oil, they're pretty hard capped, and pow, they're going to pop off very, very powerfully sometimes. And sometimes they'll catch on fire. They have up there ones that have been burning for years and years now. So anyway, I'm kind of interested. Let's watch this. I haven't seen this very long time. Now, why is that stuff coming out of here? Well, that stuff is coming out of here because normally it would have been going the other way, is my belief. Now, I could be wrong, but it needs to be studied. Normally, this would have done the digesting or whatever it was, or maybe all this stuff normally leached this way. And this fed it down into the earth. I don't know. But all I can tell you is right now, it's dying. And it's fallen into the earth, and I think it's because they're sucking the stuff out, and it has nowhere else to go. That could very easily be. Because they look gigantic to us, but if you took that much oil out of the earth, you wouldn't be able to go too far. You know, you wouldn't have a whole lot of oil in the tank. So they're huge. You know, I mean, the thing could be nothing. It could be just a real silly thing, but, you know, if you don't look at it, yikes. But that's my interpretation. The earth is alive, and there's a chance we're killing it. I don't believe that that's the case, but I certainly don't dismiss it. I think all kind of tests should be taken inside these blue holes. We should find out the ones that still have everything working right. We should test them, keep an eye on them. We should take a test on all of these Russian holes and find out what the chemicals are in there now, where they exist, what's coming out of these holes. I mean, there's so much to look at. And, you know, there may be not a whole lot of time to make the correct moves. So, all I'm saying is that, you know, I really just think this should be looked at. That's my last word. It seems that I hadn't talked to the Russians yet about this. I was just sort of talking on my own, but who knows. Okay, once again, I'm just grabbing things off the web. If I hit your page, send me something, I'll put an acknowledgement for your fabulous assistance, because some of these things, there's no way I can do this stuff, and I need a little help, and this is what we got to do. We got to expose this stuff, and we'll get all this stuff shown. Anyway, this is up in these Russian sinkholes, and if you don't see the vascularization there, I'm not exactly sure, I can't define the process yet, I'm thinking about it, but I can guarantee you that you will find some let's just put it this way. I believe that is an artery, and it's eroded away from the stalk. I can't prove any of that, but it looks it to me. And then I continue on to show all of these sinkholes all around the world. And then it seems obvious now that at that point, I remember what happened. A Japanese guy was on Nova way back when they first found these sinkholes, and the Russians got a hold of him. That's right. He commented on Nova, which is what we were just looking here. He commented on Nova long ago. This is brand new. This just came out 10 months ago. But long ago, they did the exact same thing as sinkholes in Russia. And he apparently the Russians got a hold of him. He said, well, talk to Roger. So that's when I talked to the Russians. That's what happened. But anyway, these sinkholes are not good. This is a very, very serious situation that is not going to get better. And the only way out of this is to stop this burning of these fuels. It's the expansion of the gases. It's not necessarily the carbon. Carbon dioxide, absolutely, it's an expansion gas. That's all. Any expansion gas will do this. Methanes will do it too. It's anything, they say, well, that's because of hydrocarbons. Well, I don't care. It's because carbon has a affinity to bond with other things to make gases, absolutely. But it's not the carbon itself. It's combusting solids and liquids into huge vapors. And they're accumulating in the atmosphere, compressing us against the atmosphere we're scrubbing through. That's what they don't take into account. We are scrubbing through a universe, a quantum foam. Just look it up, plug in quantum foam Fermilab, and you will see exactly what we are plowing through. And I agree, empty space is not empty, it's loaded with the particles of light that impact with us. And as we scrub through them, it gets hotter and hotter. The more we expand, the hotter and hotter and hotter it gets. Not a hard thing to understand.